It's the moment you all have been waiting for, a new unit. You're gonna go all the way to the bottom, populations and resources. We are skipping the pretest, so when you go into chapter 1, you are not doing this at all. You're going right into lesson 1.2, mysterious moon jelly increase. And I don't know if this is just me, but I got really excited by how fancy this is. I don't know if any of the other ones have moved. First thing you are going to do is you're going to go to the warm-up. The warm-up is a little bit of an introduction. You can see here we have a picture of a moon jelly, and this is underwater. And so you're kind of brainstorming and making a hypothesis right here. So you're going to watch a video, and that video is going to be attached in the Google Classroom. Because you can see up here, I have access to it, but you will not have access to it on your Amplify, so that's going to be attached. But you're going to watch that video, and it's about a scientist who studies these jellies. And so you're going to make some thoughts or write some thoughts down here about what would cause the number of organisms in an area to increase. So write that there, and you should come up with at least 2 ideas. This is the video right here that's going to be attached in the Google Classroom. Remember, you're going to have to go outside of Amplify to watch it. It's a good introduction. The next one, you will not have to do anything on this tab, but it has some good information, like the chapter question and things that we're going to be covering. 2 important vocab words that you're going to need to know is population, so a group of the same type of organism living in the same area, and then ecosystem, all the living and non-living things interacting in a particular area. Both of these words should be words that you've heard many a times, so that should be nothing new. The unit question right here, why do populations change size in an ecosystem? So that's going to be an important thing to think about while we go through the whole unit, and we won't be getting that far in the unit because we only have this month of May, but we will get about halfway through. And then the chapter 1 question is also going to be important, and I will go to the next page for that one. So the chapter 1 question is, what caused the size of the moon jelly population in Glacier Sea to increase? So we're pretty much figuring out the population of these jellies increased and what would cause it to do that. So these are just some initial thoughts. You will be doing something on this 3rd tab here. So there's 2 parts, and this is the simulation. So the 2 parts here is that the first one, you just get to play around in the simulation, get comfortable with it like we do in the past. We always spend the first day working with the different modes and trying to figure out what the different tools are in it, so you can spend some time doing that. And then make sure you click to the 2nd page, because on the 2nd page, you're going to see that there is a box here, well, I guess 2 boxes for you to fill out. So the idea is that once you go into the simulation up here, you're going to track 2 different organisms, and you're going to do them one at a time. And you're going to watch what it does, and then record your observations down here. So remember, 2 different ones, and you're doing those separate. So you'll watch one, record your observations, and then you'll watch another one. And remember, you always want to refresh before you go on to the next one. So here is the opening page of the simulation. You can see we have different choices here, the intro, population, 3 populations, and then 6 populations. Doesn't exactly matter, but when you were supposed to go and play around with it to get comfortable with the simulation, they wanted you to do 3 populations intro mode, so I'm going to click on that one. And you can see that there is a lot going on, so I would zoom in. And this kind of looks similar to our natural selection simulation we did. We have 3 different populations going around, and we can see they're interacting in different ways. And so you need to pick certain organisms. So you can see I clicked on that one, and there's different ways you can track. You can do eating, reproducing, or dying. So you can click and see, and they kind of highlight. And so these are different tools down here. You can see the numbers, and you can see a population if it's increasing or decreasing. Obviously up here the same tools that we're used to: refreshing, speeding up, slowing down, pausing, stopping. And also don't forget that you can pause and click analyze and be able to see. Right here you have all of your data as far as how much. You can see the change, so -3, +2, no change. And it'll tell you how many died, how many were born, so you can see how that is happening. And remember, in your activity, you need to make sure you track 2 different ones, and in that there's only 3 organisms to choose from, so you should be able to have plenty to look at. It says right here to do for at least 3. You're just doing these 2, don't worry about doing 3. In the simulation, if you want to go to a different mode so that you have more options, you can do that, but as long as you're picking 2 different ones, that is it. And then the last thing is going to be the homework. In the homework, there's going to be an article, and you are going to look, it'll load right here in a second, you're going to look at the introduction, and then you're going to pick one other part to read. So the introduction will give you a little intro into life in the Arctic. You're going to look at that. And then remember, if you scroll down here, you can go next, and there's multiple options. We have our moon jellies. We have the pollock, which is a fish, and different things like that. The key is that you are going to annotate. And remember, you can highlight parts of the article. You can highlight, and then you can make a note. When you make a note, I want you to put in your note why it's important. Why is the information that you just highlighted important to have highlighted, and why do you need to keep track of that information? That's what annotating is. So you should make a couple annotations, and remember, you want to do the introduction, which I will go back to, and then you're picking one other article, and down here you can see that it asks which populations you read about, so you can even type down here, and that would actually be really helpful for me, because when I go to look for your annotations, since you only have to pick one article to read, I'll be able to tell which one that I have to go to find your annotations. And so remember, you should be highlighting and making notes on a few parts of each article, the intro, and then whichever organism you have. So for 1.2, all your work is in Amplify. You're going to make sure that you have done the warm-up, the sim, and then the homework. So 1, 3, and 4. You also want to make sure that you watch the video, which is posted outside of Amplify in Google Classroom, and then that is it for this.